Whoa, this is the Option Addict from www.optionaddict.net. I'm sure you've heard by now there's plenty of news going on before the market has even opened Monday morning, so let's get started with a little bit of it. So JP Morgan agrees to buy Bear Stearns for $2 per share, and the Fed had nothing better to do over the weekend, so they stepped in and cut the discount window by 25 basis points. As a matter of fact, we were tracking Bear Stearns at the end of last week. You can see here that we saw a lot of unusual activity going on in the options, and I made note of that on, Wednesday night? Thursday night. Anyhow, the stock has dropped significantly, and as a result of that big move we saw, implied volatility really didn't drop, which meant that the options market was still pricing in a pretty significant drop. The day that this happened, the put volume continued to just explode, especially in out-of-the-money options, and as a result, Bear Stearns is going to open up at $2 per share tomorrow. Wish I would have held on to those puts a little bit longer, but the rest is history. What's going to happen now? Well, I think you got to pay attention to some of the financial stocks, especially any of the ones that had any dealings going on with Bear Stearns. This is yet another sign of financial Armageddon. The Asian markets responded pretty poorly to this. Everything was down pretty sharply. And as a result, I expect the market to continue to weaken. If you look at this move we had last week, you'll notice that using closing prices, it was a retest of these lows at 13.25, and now we're sitting right off of the lows here. The intraday lows from back at the end of January, and of course here at the beginning of March, we're right at that level again. I don't think the market's going to respond too positively. Even if it does, it's going to be very short-lived. So I imagine this week, especially with some of the financials reporting earnings, we're going to see this level give way and all hell is going to break loose. We also had a lot of conversation spinning around the VIX this week. The VIX broke out of a significant resistance level. If I go to a one-year chart here and I switch over to a line chart, you'll see that we have a nice little breakout here to the upside. You see we're just barely above that level. So the market's getting nervous. Now this week you have to watch out for PPI coming out tomorrow. Of course the Fed announcement is going to be Tuesday, and then we got some crude inventories coming out Wednesday. That's kind of the big stuff that's going on this week. Again, financials are going to be reporting earnings, so make sure you watch out for that. It should be a pretty big whipsaw ride going on within some of those financial stocks. So this week I got a ton of stocks. In fact, I spent more time reducing my watch list than I spent actually looking for the stocks, because there's a lot of patterns, there's a lot of good stocks to short, and even a few good stocks to go long. So I'm going to start off with a few price patterns and a lot of descending triangles in financials. I'm going to start with Prudential here, switch back to a candlestick chart. You can see that we've got a series of lower highs. We've got support here at about 67.50. Watch for that to break later on this week. I'm also watching Allstate, ALL. Same thing, lower highs, equal lows right here at about 45, 46. As soon as that gives out, I think you got to buy some puts here as well. MasterCard, I even saw some people talking about this here, kind of a monster triangle forming here. The Visa IPO is also coming out this week. Naturally, I would have thought that that would have been more of a disruption to MasterCard right now. Again, more supply out there in the marketplace with same or equal demand should drive prices lower. But this thing's looking pretty strong lately. If above resistance here at about 208, 209 with some pretty good volume behind it, it'd be easy to manage a bullish trade there. Next, I'm going to call a top here in Questar, STR. In fact, I'm going to zoom in here to a shorter term chart, 6-month, triple top, 1, 2, 3. If it breaks support here at 55, buy some puts. It's going to test the lows. I also like St. Joe, JOE. You guys remember I got long this stock a couple months, maybe about a month ago. Anyway, it's breaking out of a nice little triangle formation here. About a 4-point move to the upside now that it's broken, so make sure you're watching this one. I also like PLD here. Nice little descending triangle. I'm discounting this opening price here, of course. I use closing prices. So this triangle is a pretty good size here. I'm also going to call a top in Urban Outfitters, URBN, another triple top. As soon as it breaks 28, buy some puts. Big time symmetrical triangle going on in Microsystems, MCRS. You can see that there. And also Archer Daniels. Now, I redrew the lines on this one here because the movement we saw was really less than stellar. It made me kind of just watch this one for a while, and sure enough, you could still draw some lines where I have them here and all the price action still falls within this pattern. So I don't know. Eventually, if we see a breakout of these highs, I think you still got to trade it. So keep an eye on that one. Those are the price patterns here. I got a few long and short ideas I'm going to throw at you via slides. And also some breakouts and breakdowns. We'll start with the breakouts, starting with PRGO. You can see this is kind of a triangle formation here, but anyway, resistance here at about 35, 36. You can see the lows are gradually moving higher, so keep an eye on this one. I also like DNR. Let me get to a one-year chart here. You can see that it's trading up near its highs. Anything energy has been doing pretty well right now. Do not trade this one until it breaks out, though. A couple of breakdowns I'm watching. I do not like telecom heading into this week, and one of my favorite plays to take advantage of that is US Cellular. 6-month chart, you can see a little bit of consolidation right here as soon as it breaks. I think the stock heads to the lower 50s. Fortune Brands, I'm kind of skittish on this one just because I don't like, it's not a really volatile stock, and here it's breaking down. I think you can use a target price maybe to the tune of about maybe 6-7 points. I also like AIZ right here. You can see the stock trading just off of its highs. It's forming good support here at 60. And it's pretty darn close to breaking down, and I think once it does, it's going to move quite a bit. Last but not least, Interactive Brokers. The online brokers have just been squashed lately. This one has held up because they offer more investment products than all of them combined. But a sinking ship is gradually going to take down all stocks, and this one is not immune to a bear market. So as it breaks below, let's say 29 here, I think you got to get some puts or get short the stock. That's my watch list this week, folks. Just a quick wham bam, thank you, ma'am, and we're done here. Plenty of stocks to watch out for this week, but to summarize, I'm still bearish on healthcare. I think these stocks are going to retest their lows. I don't like casinos here, and I'm also bearish on telecom and biotech, but still bullish on energy and commodities. Now, you'll notice that this week I didn't spend a lot of time repeating from some of my prior lists, but please make sure you're tracking those stocks because there's still a tremendous amount of good setups. For example, the puts we talked about buying on HOLX or NUVA, Deckers, RBA, CRL, all those ideas are still perfect. But this week I don't want to spend time just clogging the airways. I want to make it short and sweet, but make sure you're tracking the stocks from the week before. There's plenty of ideas out there right now, and you guys, I'm in a zone right now, so a lot of these stocks that I'm tracking here are pretty volatile. They're making big moves, so make sure you're watching them. That'll do it for me, folks. It's going to be a volatile week this week, so make sure you're prepared, or at least make sure you are protecting your capital. But no matter what, never fear. I'm going to be here, breaking it down for you Monday through Friday. So in the meantime, this has been The Option Addict. That's been my watch list. Thanks for watching. Take care.
There's a force in the universe that makes things happen. And all you have to do is get in touch with it. Stop thinking. Let things happen. And be the ball.